You might be driving behind someone, and the next thing the person would do is just to stop, and you see someone fling the door open and dash out of the car, and they will wave their hand at you and expect you to understand. So what just happened there? They had to, someone had needed to alight, and they just pulled over abruptly without any warning sign. So imagine you are coming on full speed and the person just stopped. That could cause a serious accident. So for those who do that, the penalty for it is Hello there, welcome to this channel, Boss Lady Diana. My name is Diana. Yes, on today's show, we're going to be discussing a very sensitive issue, FRSC, the Federal Road Safety Corp. Yes, if you live in Nigeria and Lagos, most especially, you'd agree with me that there's been an influx of law enforcement agencies on our highways. You basically cannot drive, visit 50 meters without bumping into one of them. Either you see the police or you see LASMA, you see road safety. And if you're like me also, that get panic attack when you see them, like my heart almost stops beating whenever I bump into them, because I know when you fall into their nets, you almost cannot leave them without patting out some naira notes. Giving out the naira notes is not the issue, but the intimidation you face without having to do that is what I have a problem with. Now, I'll tell you a short story. About, 4 or 5 years ago, I was working on the mainland then. So my husband came to pick me up from work, and on our way, we had to go through this road diversion. I think we were doing some construction then, and we had to look for an alternative route. So we got to a point and we were stuck. And the Google map was not so effective then. It wasn't so popular in Nigeria. So we were stranded. And I sighted the police van in front of us. I told my husband, I said, well, instead of going around asking random strangers, because it was quite late, about 8, 9 then, why not we go ask the police? All right. So we moved forward to where the police van was stationed. They were on night patrol van. So we went to them. And before we could talk, one of them just barged out and said, pull over. And I'm like, I'm sorry, sir, we wanted to ask you for directions. In one of the most, in fact, will I say the meanest tone I've heard from a military personnel, the guy just backed and asked us to pull over. So we pulled over. The next thing, he started asking for outrageous papers. And he didn't even give us a chance to ask our questions. We brought everything he requested for. I don't know what he asked for that we couldn't provide then. And next thing he said he was taking us to the station. The switch, as in from when we got there to when he said he wanted to take us to the station, I couldn't comprehend. I saw a police officer. I needed to ask you for direction. And the next thing, you are drilling us to the point where you are telling us you take us to the station because we didn't have is it tinted permit or whatever. I couldn't remember at that point, as in at that time of the night. So I felt I couldn't wrap my head around it. I grew up to believe the police officers are the ones you should go to when in trouble. And I went to a police officer for direction, and what did I get? He flipped it on me and wanted to take us to the station. We tried and doled out some cash as usual, and we're let go. We're left stranded. They didn't even answer our question. They drove off. So we had to rely on the random passerby we were avoiding. When there were some security agencies that could have helped that. I'm not trying to say all the police officers are bad. I have been in contact with 1 or 2 nice ones, and they were really helpful when I needed their help. But also, there are so many bad eggs amongst the police. Anyway, today's video is not all about the police. Today, we're going to be talking about the road safety. If you ask an average road user, the police and road safety, they are all regarded as one and the same. Do you understand? So today, there's been some alterations here and there. As in alterations, it's been altered from what you know previously on what the FRSC is going to be fining you for as a road user. So today I have about 37 rules you should try not to break as a road user. By road user, I mean as a driver. Okay, so if you're driving a private car or commercial car, these are 38 things you should ensure. Sorry, 37 things you should ensure you do not default on. So I'll be listing the offenses and listing the fines that are attached to it. So if for any reason you find yourself defaulting, just keep that amount in your in your car and stand by, yes, to sort yourself out. All right, so the first one on the list is traffic light and sign violations. Yes. Okay, so traffic light and sign violations is when you see the traffic lights stopping and you're trying to form a James Bond, you're trying to pull a James Bond on the roads. If you are caught, your fine is 2,000 naira. For this, I think I'm not trying to sound condescending, but I think the penalty for this is a little too minimal, because if it is 2,000 naira, some people will just break the traffic light and rush down to where they are hurrying to, because to them they'll say, oof, it's just 2,000 naira and I can afford to pay that if I am caught. So if you break the traffic light says stop, and you decide you want to move at that point, the penalty for you is 2,000 naira. All right, number 2 is road obstruction. There are sometimes you drive. Well, there are few private drivers that are guilty of this, but there are still some who act like I don't know, they just get a call from the spirit world that asks them to stop. You might be driving behind someone, and the next thing the person would do is just to stop, and you see someone fling the door open and dash out of the car, and they will wave their hand at you and expect you to understand. So what just happened there? They had to someone had needed to alight, and they just pulled over abruptly without any warning sign. So imagine you are coming on full speed and the person just stopped. That could cause a serious accident. So for those who do that, the penalty for it is 3,000 naira road obstruction. So road obstruction of any form, parking your car in absurd places, inconveniencing other road users, and breaking the government rules on road use. Road obstruction fine is 3,000 naira. So we have driver's license violation. Yes, if you're driving without your driver's license, or you leave your driver's license behind, you do not have it when it's required of you by law enforcement agencies, especially the FRSC agents. Yes, you're expected to pay 10,000 naira. All right, the next one on my list is dangerous driving. For dangerous driving, that is a bit dicey, because an average Nigerian drives like a junkie. Someone told me, she said, when you are driving, it's assumed you're the only sane person. So just believe every other person driving around you is crazy. So do your best and maintain all safety rules you can. So in case the next person that is coming behind you is not sane or in the right frame of mind, you'd have prepared yourself, taking the precautionary measures to ensure no harm comes to you. All right, so dangerous driving. In Nigeria, it's difficult to classify them because an average person drives dangerously, absurd speed, avoiding, they do not stop at the zebra crossing. All of that is classified under the dangerous driving, and the penalty for that is, oh, this is much. I like this. This one is 50,000 naira. So if you are caught doing James Bond on the road or driving, putting other road users at risk, the penalty for that is 50,000 naira. So if you know you are used to driving around like a junkie, putting other road users at risk, you do not care about harming people because you are behind the wheels, always put your 50,000 naira somewhere handy, because very soon you'll be made to pay it. All right. And when you exhaust it, you replace it, because tomorrow you get caught again. All right. So the next one is speed limit violation. Yes, speed limit violation. Most Nigerians are not conscious of it, but for every road, there is a speed limit required. So on those speed limits, you're expected not to drive too slow or too fast. On the highway, there's a speed limit you're expected to follow. So if you are driving too slow and playing safe, you are also a defaulter of that road. Do you understand? So when you are in an area where you're expected to drive fast, keep the pace. If you're in an area where you're expected to drive minimally, keep the pace. And if you are in a residential environment where you're expected to drive extra slow, you should also keep the pace. So defaulting in any of these Speed limit is a crime, and the penalty for that is 3,000 naira. All right, the next one we're going to be talking about is vehicle license violation. Hello, darling. Yes, vehicle license violation. Your car papers, when they request it, when you are required to produce it and you do not have it, yes, you can be fined for it. The fine for that is 3,000 naira. All right, the next one is driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Yes, some people like to drive when they are high. They tell you it gives them this feeling, like this euphoric feeling. You're driving, you're high. But to me, that's crazy. You're not only putting your life at risk, you're putting the life of innocent road users at risk. You see them drinking and driving. Some people actually like it. They look forward to it. As they take alcohol in excess quantities, smoke what they are not supposed to smoke, hit the wheels and hit the road. So when you encounter such people on the road, in fact, most accidents we have on the road is as a result of that, drinking and driving, smoking and driving, because to you, you're driving at normal speed, but that's the euphoric feeling making you act like a demon. So you go ahead and hit people who are minding their business and you cause bodily harm. So the violation for that is, okay, the penalty for that is 5,000 naira. But I think it depends. If you drive absurdly, then you'll be placed under dangerous driving. But if you are just tipsy and you are just sounding like you do not know what you're saying, then you're in the 5,000 category. So get it clear. Do not think, oh, I can drink and drive or get high and drive, and the penalty is 5,000. Depending on how high you are or how psychotic you are, you'll be placed into the 50,000 naira category. All right, the next one we're talking about is driving with worn out tires or without spare tires. That's self-explanatory. The penalty for that is 3,000 naira. I think this list is a bit fair. The last one was more outrageous. In fact, when I saw that last one, I had to tell myself, if I cannot abide by that rule, then I'll just jump the bus. All right. Okay, this other one is driving without or with shattered windscreen. Driving without a windscreen or driving with a shattered windscreen. The penalty is 3,000 naira. And as the case may be, you might be required to go to the office and more money will be taken from you. So get that clear. All right, the next one is overloading. Overloading, I think this applies to people who use their cars for commercial purposes. Yes, for every car, there's a stipulated number of persons that should be in the car. Like our regular Bolt or Uber, they tell you maximum of 4, I think. But there are some clients that will come and tell you, please, sir, my sister just gave birth to a puppy, and we need to squeeze in the puppy and the mother and the la 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 la. Can you just make it 6? And the boat driver might be compassionate and say, oh yeah, sure. But just know that if he's caught, he would be fined seriously, and the passenger will not be held liable to the driver. So when they refuse, do not think they're being mean to you, but just know that they're trying to save their neck from the law enforcement agencies. All right, the next one we're going to be talking about is driving without seatbelt. Self-explanatory, 2,000 naira. Driving a vehicle with forged documents. That's maybe I can't explain this one because I don't know why you would want to go around with a forged document. So I think it applies to stolen cars or people who are driving cars without the intention of the owner. So they just get some papers around to show the police. When you're caught doing that, the penalty for that is 20,000 naira. Okay, vehicle number plate violation. That's if you have faded number plates or you do not have number plates at all, or you see some people, they use stickers in place of number plate. All of those fall under number plate violation, and the penalty for it is 3,000. I'm trying to be fast. I don't want this video to exceed a certain period of time so we can move on to other things. All right. The next one is wrongful overtaking. You see all those junkies that when you're driving, they just come from nowhere and just want to get in front of you like crazy people. Yeah. The penalty for that is 3,000 naira. Road marking violations, I talked about it before. The zebra crossing, any road mark you see that expects you to take an action and you do not take an action falls under road marking violation, and the penalty is 5,000 naira. Okay, the next one is caution sign violation. Caution sign violation is 3,000 naira. The use of phone while driving. There are some people that you see them chatting in traffic, or you see them making a call and laughing. I was guilty of this before, but I realized that when I drive, especially with my kids, and it practically feels like they have their lives in my hands. So if I really love my kids like I claim to do, then I ought to ensure I take all necessary safety precautions to ensure I do not put my kids' life at risk. So driving, using the phone while driving, or texting or chatting while driving, puts your life and other road users at risk. And the penalty for that is 4,000 naira. Okay, we have the unauthorized removal or tampering with road signs. There are some people who just take delight. Come, my darling. They take delight in tampering with road signs. Road signs, yes. So if you do that, if you damage it or tamper with it to favor you, then the penalty is 5,000 naira. Then we have inadequate construction warning. If you are constructing, if you are having a construction site and you do not take all precautionary measures for construction, putting road users at risk, there is a fine for that. So it is 50,000 naira. Then construction area speed limit violation, self-explanatory. Sorry, my darling. Speed limit violation is 3,000 naira. Failure to cover unstable material. That's for people who are driving and you see them carrying things dangling and you think they are auditioning for the role of a killer in 1,000 Ways to Die. When you see those ones, in fact, when I see them, I prefer to pull over because it feels like whatever they are carrying can just spin around and hit you or damage your car, and they do not seem to care. When I see them, I just say, oh, these are one of them. Audition. They are auditioning for 1,000 Ways to Die, as they are auditioning for the role of a killer. I avoid them. All right, the next one is okay. The failure to cover unstable materials is 5,000 naira. Then this is very important. Attempting to corrupt a marshal. Attempting to corrupt a marshal is dicey. Yes, corrupt a marshal is when you're caught defaulting. When you're caught defaulting and you're trying to, my darling, I'm making a video. When you're caught defaulting and you try to and you try to bribe your way out, that's you're trying to influence the marshal to go against his duties. The fine for that is 10,000 naira. All right, next one we have is excessive smoke emission. I'm looking at my time now. It's about 17 minutes. I have to run through the other one. Excessive smoke emission. People driving like their mobile chimneys. The fine is, my darling, stop talking. 5,000. The failure to fix red flag on projected load. That's all these cars you see that tie something red. It's actually the standard procedure. So if you are carrying projected load, that's iron rods or you're moving properties and it's projected out of the car, there should be something red on it too, as a caution sign on people. Oh, okay, I'll change him now. Okay, so failure to fix red flag is 3,000 naira. Then medical personnel or hospital rejection of road accident victims. When there's an accident victim and you refuse to accept them, Mira, that's my microphone. I refuse to accept them. Yes, the fine for that is 50,000 naira. So if you rush an accidented victim to the hospital and the hospital declines, then they're going to be fined 50,000 for it. Then assaulting a marshal on duty, that's all this when you're Mayweather, you see those ones that like to fight, boxing. Yeah. That when an officer stops you, you try to fight your way out of it. The fine for that is 10,000 naira. But it depends on the one you come in contact with. Some people, they have zero chill. So while you're fighting, they'll give it to you. And after that, you pay your 10,000 naira. So in all things, you try to restrain yourself from being violent against a law enforcement officer. All right, so the next one is obstructing a marshal on duty. Here. Obstructing a marshal on duty, that's 2,000 naira. Custody fee for your car. For every day your car stays there in their executive parking lot, you're expected to pay 200 naira per day after 24 hours. So if your car stays here for a year, that's 200,000 multiplied by 365 days. A lot of money, right? All right, the next one is driving without specified fire extinguisher. I wanted to say a story about this, but I do not have time for that today. Another day I'll do that. 3,000 naira. Driving a commercial vehicle without passenger manifest. Self-explanatory. 10,000 naira. That's a manifest is a list that contains the names of all the passengers in a commercial vehicle for identification purposes. So when you are asked to present it and you cannot, the fine for that is 10,000 naira. The next one is driving a vehicle under 18 years. It's 20,000. Mira, can you give him this? Riding a motorcycle without a crash helmet is 2,000 naira. And a mechanically deficient vehicles. This one, I think 70% of cars in some areas would fit under this category, because there are some cars you see and you're wondering, how is such a car out on the highway? Some cars are dented or tilted and they're jittery and shaky, and you're wondering how this car is on the road. But if you have such cars, then the penalty is 5,000 naira. Then failure to install speed limiting device. Most cars come with it already, but if your car does not come with it and you do not install, then your penalty is 3,000. Okay, that's all on the edited FRSC rules. The video is 21 minutes 29 seconds at this point. Yes, we're going to call it a day, call it a wrap on this video. It's been awesome sharing these tips with you, because if you are someone that does not like to fall into the net of the FRSC agents, try as much as possible to adhere to all of these rules. Put all your car papers, your vehicle papers, ensure you're in the right frame of mind when you're driving, and do not put yourself and other road users at risk. Okay, my name, like I said earlier, is Diana, and you're watching Boss Lady Diana, and today we have been discussing the FRSC updated rules and the penalty. Yeah, I've been showing videos without my face for a while, but today I was a bit available. I thought to do a quick video. I hope I have been able to enlighten you on something new today. So till I come your way again on this station, my name is Diana. Please, if you're not subscribed to my channel, I would be delighted to have you come on board as a family member. So please subscribe to my channel, turn on your notification button, so whenever I post a video, you'll be notified and you'll be the first to know about it. To my viewers who always watch my video, the love I have for you, you can't even understand. But thank you for always watching my videos. Thank you for your sweet messages. I read them and I'm always excited to hear from you. So if I come your way again on this station, bearing good news, bearing something educational and informative for you, my name is Diana, and it's bye for now. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Mira, come and say bye. Bye. All right, bye.